I'd been waiting for this game ever since I saw it, which was a month ago. I didn't know about it because I have never played any games from Obsidian. No, I've been waiting for some fantasy RPG for a long time now. The last I played was Hogwarts Legacy, back when it was released in 2023, which is already 2 years ago. Damn. Anyway, I saw this, a game that fits the bill, and I was definitely going to play it. Fast forward to now, I've played and completed the game, even though it's only been a few days and it took me about 26 hours. I have mixed feelings. Let me explain. The story is decent, nothing that will replace life or leave you awestruck. We are something called Godlike, who are apparently claimed by the gods. Each Godlike is connected to some god, but sports weird fungal type growths on their faces and heads as a badge.
You mean a god gave you that face?
We are the envoy from the Ediran Emperor, tasked with investigating and eliminating a plague called the Dreamscourge. This plague attacks the soul of a person, twisting who they are until they go rampant. It's like zombies, but the affected ones still speak in a madness-like manner and aren't decaying. Instead, they grow mushrooms on their bodies. Ugh. So the story starts when we reach the Living Lands. The game has a companion system, letting us team up with 2 members at any given time. They have their own unique abilities and attack defense options to use in the battle. And of course, we can control those abilities during the battle. As is tradition in such games, each time we visit the camps, we can converse with our companions. They have personal missions that help us bond with them better. Speaking of camp activities, we can upgrade our weapons and enchant them. Only the named weapons though. We have tons of weapons ranging from daggers to longswords to axes and even guns. Guns! In a fantasy world! These weapons also have quality. The higher the quality, the better the stats. And of course, being fantasy, magic exists, and so do grimoires and wands. So we can basically wield whatever the fuck we want and go into battle. I stuck with a sniper-like gun as my primary weapon and a grimoire sword combo for my secondary. The cutscenes are fun, the voice acting is good, the music is great, and the combat is engaging, although it gets a little bit tedious in spots where enemies appear every 10 meters. So I mentioned mixed feelings, but so far I've only been listing the good things about the game. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin. This is tiring. Just why? How is this RPG? And what the actual fuck aspects? Let's start with, this is tiring. It's nothing major, the game requires real grinding to progress. It takes way too long to level up because the XP points for actions are quite low. No level up equals no attribute and skill points equals limited combat or dialogue options. So I did the most natural thing any gamer would do. Use cheat engine to get extra attribute and skill points, which didn't work, so I increased the XP instead. But the max level is 30, meaning a measly 30 points each. Now, I don't know about you, but when a game shows off skill trees with hundreds of upgrades available, I'd want to upgrade most of them. But we are severely limited here in this game, basically forced to choose combat style. I upgraded major gun, bow skills and a few magic skills here and there, but that's it. 1 or 2-handed weapon skills were pretty much non-existent for me. So if I wanted to use them, I'd have to reset all the unlocks and start over. The same goes for attribute points. You're forced to choose the type of dialogue you prefer. You have points invested mostly in intellect and perception? Then the dialogues that require might or dexterity are locked. You have a balanced distribution? Kiss most of the attribute dialogues goodbye, except for maybe those with insignificant NPCs. A game shouldn't limit a player's growth this way. If the limitations have to be put, then show only class-based skill trees instead. Now, the just why aspect. The woke narrative forced upon the game. At the very beginning, during character setup, you're asked if you want an identifier, he, she or they, displayed. At that point, I wasn't aware of the pre-launch complaints about the wokeness, so I didn't think much about it and just moved on. And then we start seeing characters with hairstyles that are synonymous with being woke, from short Gen Z cuts to wild curls and wonky colors. Of course, not all characters follow this, but there's a lot. And then there are dialogues. Lots about healing the wounded heart, appreciation, being considerate, and other such sunshine and roses crap. In the past, we have seen games that deal with loss, grief, or joy, where the dialogue felt natural, but in this game, these dialogues just felt forced. And there's even an option to wipe a tear from the corner of your eye. After a supposedly heartfelt conversation among the team members, we have a cutthroat mercenary for hire, a master tracker, an arcane wizard, and an animancer who tinkers with soul. The game shows these characters becoming vulnerable to the point where they start oversharing and acting completely uncharacteristic. Everyone's past wounds are healed because of us, and suddenly all is happy. Really, game? Oh, did I mention the game has furries? Well, it does. Why? I cannot say. Sure, we can call them humanoid animal characters, but we have seen those in games before. Just look at the characters here. It's evident. So the question is, why? Not everything in this world needs to be politically correct, certainly not fantasy games with medieval settings. What people choose to identify as is their choice, and others have no say in it. But it would help if the developers actually cared about the target demographic. In a Venn diagram of people who care about such things and gamers, the intersection is likely quite small.
Don't quote me on this though, I may just be ignorant.
So, just why? It's a noticeable, significant change to appeal to an extremely tiny sect at the expense of everyone else. But it's okay, because while it's annoying, there's no harm done. Moving on to, how is this RPG? The game has no consequences or acknowledgement when you go and steal from the NPC's homes right in front of them. Nothing. This breaks the immersion. Another major letdown is that you cannot attack anyone unless the game has designated them as an enemy during a fight sequence. If you resolve a fatal conflict peacefully and then try to attack afterwards just for the kicks, nothing happens. Or rather, you can swing or shoot, but the hits just don't register. I don't understand why this decision was made. It's an open world RPG, and such mechanics will only enhance the experience. Another glaring omission is any potential for romantic relationships that RPGs with companion systems usually offer. You get to chat with your companions a lot, but that's it. Maybe a bit of flirting with the female companions, but nothing more. The RPG aspect in this game seems to be confined to character creation at the start and a semblance of dialogue choices. The problem is that the game only gives you the illusion of choice. There are no consequences to major decisions. For example, our furry friend is given a choice to study magic under a legendary archmage, which means she must leave our team. When she asks for our opinion, regardless of what we say, the archmage announces that our furry friend has a few months to decide and lets our friend go back with us to continue our current journey. Another instance involves our god, Sapadal, imprisoned for brutal past bloodshed. After a lot of talk no jutsu, Sapadal appears to repent. Still, an older godlike warns that Sapadal must never be released. So even if we choose to release Sapadal, nothing happens except the Dreamscourge cleanse, which is anyway the intended path for the game. Sure, you can alter some drastic outcomes like letting a city burn or destroying ruins, but there are no major consequences regarding how people treat you, including your companions who just express displeasure once and then go back to being chummy. What the actual fuck aspect is the visuals and optimizations. I have an RTX 3060 mobile card. It's not a beast, but by no means is it weak. I've been playing most games on high ultra presets with titles like Cyberpunk at medium high, and the FPS have mostly been 60 plus. Not this game though. Even at medium, it often can't push over 50 FPS. Battle sequences drop the FPS to sub 30.
Okay, so what? Your system's old and can't handle new gen visuals?
You might say. That would be understandable if that was the case. But look at this. Ghosting, artifacts, and other issues even when DLSS or upscalers are off. The lighting is abysmal. It's pixelated on characters and objects with a watercolor-like shifting effect. And don't even get me started on the character hair. Faces render only up close and lose all details just a few steps away. I'm sorry, but how is this acceptable? A YouTube channel called Radical Cap has videos on this very issue. TLDR, a paradigm shift has made developers lazy enough to let local hardware do all the heavy lifting. Okay, I'll stop my rant here. What do I think of the game in the end? Well, there's not much that developers can do about the visuals now, so it's best if you have a monster GPU to support it. Otherwise, you'll just have to make compromises. If you can look past this and the forced narratives, it's a pretty fun game with tons of things to do, making it bearable and playable. If you've played the game, what do you think? If you haven't, what are your opinions based on the gameplay videos and streams? I'd love to know. If you have suggestions for me, please let me know in the comments, and if you want more videos like this, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.